be alive. We were born for a time like this. We are the change, and we are the change makers, and we will be the change. Good morning. My heart is so full. I welcome you to the Bold New Normal Conference. The Bold New Normal 2023. We are streaming live from Ghana, West Africa, the center of the world. The Bold New Normal Conference is here for many reasons. As you can see, I have this in hand, meaning that it's going to be a full day of productivity. You are in this room, a coalition of change makers, doing great things in your orbits and in your spheres. But we do believe here at the Bold New Normal that together we can be explosive, together we will be dynamite, and together the effects and the changes we can make and we will make are immeasurable. And that is why we are here today. See, we have a panel discussion. We have a spirited panelist who will be speaking to us about identifying and leveraging opportunity in the face of challenges. They're here. They're ready for you. We have 3 spotlight features. We have David Ofosudote, we have Kwesi Baden of Margins ID. We also have Na Ashoko Mensadoku, and then we have Busi Matsiko Anden as well. So please, please, we have a packed day for you. We also have a reflective performance for you and many, many surprising things. And of course, the climax of this event is the masterclass, Living with Audacity to Win Differently, which will be presented by Lucy Quist. I hope you're excited. I'm super excited. We would also like to acknowledge our sponsors who are making this day possible. We want to thank our anchor sponsor, Margins ID Group. We want to thank Dominion TV, Africa's Christian lifestyle television, supporting us. We want to thank the multimedia group, Joy 99.7, for the discerning listeners. We also want to thank Sunny FM 88.7, positive soul music. And we want to thank Type as well for being with us again this year. And to Stanbic Bank, it can be. Let's put our hands together for our sponsors. So at this moment, we would like to call the lady of the hour, Lucy Quist, to welcome us to the Bold New Normal 2023. Come on, put your hands together. I want you to close your eyes. And I want you to take in a long, deep breath. And I know you've had a busy week and you have a busy weekend, and there's so many tasks that are flowing through your mind of what to do. Recognize them. It's okay to have a to-do list. I have a long one. And as you breathe in and you recognize your to-do list, pause at the top of your breath, acknowledge your to-do list, and leave it there. And as you breathe out now, it's a long breath. As you breathe out, I want you to think about today. Think about all the amazing things you're going to take in, all the amazing people you're going to meet, and all the amazing insights you're going to acquire and gain today. Think about the speakers and what they're going to share with you and how meaningful that is going to be. And now please open your eyes and take your seats. Thank you very much for that. So why are you here? You're here because, like me, you're change makers. You're people who want to see things differently. You're people who heard, who are doing, but also want to meet other people who are equally committed to the change that we can make by taking action. Not the change that we make by talking, just talking, but by actually taking action. That's why you're here. Now, I recognize that, as I said at the top, there are many crises, but even right here in Ghana, economically, we have our challenges. Our challenges of inflation, all the things that I could list. But you know, as a wise colleague once said to me, never waste a crisis. It's not to trivialize a crisis, but I'm asking you, I'm imploring you to switch your thinking today as you go through the conference. Think about whatever you in your mind clicks and says, crisis, issue, and so on, and click it and think, well, where's the opportunity in this? And sometimes that's what it takes. In the midst of crisis, just focus your mind on what you have control of today. And that mindset will keep you winning. So, I'm not going to spend a lot more time on this because you're here, you're set, you're ready. I'm excited. You have notebooks. This is mine here. I actually brought it on stage so you'd see. You have this in your bags. Take notes, write. I'm the notebook woman, so just so you know, you see me writing, it's because I'm learning. Get to know at least one new person today, and think clearly as you go through to the future to 12 months from now.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us. And let's make change happen together.
My name is Sena Nutako. I'm the founder and CEO at eCampus. eCampus, we help you learn smarter, become employable, and attain prosperity. We do that using technology to help you measure, analyze, and predict your readiness for examinations and employment.
My name is Ofori Charles Antipim. I'm co-founder at Dex Technology. And at Dex Technology, what we are trying to do is to make access to science equipment as ubiquitous as access to textbooks for students all over Africa. We have a product called the Science Set, which enables students to perform all their science experiments they need to perform without access to a physical science lab, and it's just as affordable as a textbook.
My name is Shroda Kadrawedam. I'm the founder of the Songba Empowerment Center located in Tamale, Northern Region. I support and I train women and girls in income-generating activities such as the production of hand-woven fabrics, the production of shea butter, and also the production of reusable sanitary pads that are taken to rural communities to ensure that girls have access to sanitary products so they'll be able to menstruate in confidence.
I want to welcome my panelists in no special order. I would like to welcome Charles Sofori Antipem. He was here last year and he's joining us here again today. I'd like to call on Cecil Sena Nutako. I'd like to call on Kojo Akoto-Boatin and the lady of the hour, Rhoda Wedham. I particularly like the sound of her name. Rhoda Wedham. It has a twang to it. I love it. I love it. Now get comfortable, have some water, decide on whether you're crossing your legs or you're slanting, and let's have this conversation. So in no special order. Actually, you know what, Kojo, I think I'm going to attack you first. How about that? You ready? Born ready. All righty. So my question to you, from DJ X-Ray to broadcast journalist to head of new media at City TV and FM, presently an entrepreneur within the agricultural space. Quite the transition. Briefly, walk us through your journey.
Yeah, I think my transition can be captured in Genesis chapter 1.
Expound.
Yes, the story of creation. When the world was without form, God said, let there be light, separated water from the land, caused all things to happen, right? So these are all elements God has created and blessed us with. DJing came along because after senior high school, there was nothing to do. So my brother pushed me into a radio station, new software, so I became a DJ. Then after uni, I did building technology, posted to Coca-Cola as a salesman. And as my mom's son, I could do sales because my mom was a saleswoman. She used to sell. She used to be a trader. And the best salespeople are the Kumasi traders at the central market. So I think in my training and in my experiences, I like what you did earlier for us to network. I think that one of the things that has helped me the most is to have a very wide network of people with different skills. So you're always picking something from other people. For me, I think that if you read the Bible, if you think about the examples in the Bible, for example, Matthew 11:29, Jesus told us to take his yoke upon him and learn from him. And he was a practical person, like taking loaves of bread and fish and multiplying it. Sometimes people will think that is a miracle, right? But that wasn't just a miracle, but it was a practical example of how to feed people, how to understand people's needs, and how to think beyond. So when they finished eating the bread and the fish, they didn't leave the waste. They packed all that. So these days, Rhoda is preaching sustainability and upcycling and recycling. Jesus taught us that in the Bible. Yes, from DJ X-Ray to head of digital at City, to working at MIDA right now, to working with New Age and Insiwa, raising about 3 million to support about 800 farmers. It's all about learning from the concepts in the Bible, creation, but every lesson and every experience in any industry can be applied anywhere. If you're a project manager, for example, you are the kind of brain and the hand we need in farming, because farming is all about project managing and structures and managing things. If you're a pilot, for example, we need your precision in engineering. If you are a community development activist, we need your skills in farming, because you can mobilize people and train them and let them know the essence of what they do and how they have to do it. So Rhoda comes from the northern region. The land size of the northern region is 25,000 square kilometers. The land size of Israel, I'm using Israel because I want to use an example people can relate to. Right. Israel is in the news now. It's 22,000 square kilometers. So northern region is bigger than Israel. But Israel's GDP is $450 billion a year, over $450 billion. The northern region, which is about 10, 12, 15% of Ghana, within Ghana, our whole GDP is $77 billion. Meanwhile, northern region has more land, more water, more gold, almost everything. But that small country called Israel has it because we are not tapping the resources. So I always tell myself that if we build that kind of structure for the nation, if we build systems for ourselves, if we build systems, we can build that bold new normal we want.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Come on, guys. Thank you so much, Kojo. Thank you for setting the tone. So Rhoda Songba Empowerment Center. And by the way, you really should be following in your brochure. You're going to see the profiles of all our panelists, and you read more in depth about what they do. Rhoda, you founded Songba Empowerment Center, boldly founded it. Tell us your personal why for this audacious move.
Okay, so born and raised in northern region, I grew up knowing that most of the young women and girls migrate to the major cities of the country to engage themselves in Kaya youth. And the definition of Kaya youth, we all know who a Kaya youth person is. These are young women and girls that are headquarters in the major cities of the country. And if you look at the internet, the definition of Kaya youth, they tell you that young women and girls migrating from the north. Why not from Accra, but from the north? So this is a narrative that I want to change, that Kaya youth shouldn't be about, or shouldn't, when we are defining Kaya youth, it shouldn't talk about women from the north. That shouldn't be the case. And the question is, why do these women migrate down here to engage themselves in Kaya youth? Because of high rates of poverty. These women do not have, or some of these girls drop out of school early. Some of them are being forced into marriages, and because of that, they have to run down here to look for this other way of finding, they move here just to find another source of income. So what the Songba Empowerment Center is doing is that it's a platform or as a center that I have created where I provide sustainable livelihood for these young girls. So we enroll these girls at the center for free. We provide them with sewing machines. We provide them with weaving machines. So they stay with us for a period of 3 years. And once these girls are able to sew and weave, we support them to sell their products. So we also have a microfinance scheme in the center, which enables these girls to save once every week. So we want them to be financially independent, because once these girls are financially independent, that can also help reduce sexual-based violence or gender-based violence. So in brief, this is what the whole Songba Empowerment Center is. And this boldness started right after tertiary education. I took that bold step that I needed to change the narrative that coming to the South here shouldn't be the only option for the northern girl to attain success. No.
Thank you so much, Rhoda. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'm going to go to Charles. Charles was here with us for our inaugural event. I mean, he's not a favorite, but I just wanted you to know that he was here for the inaugural event. So we're happy to have you back, Charles. And Charles, tell us a little bit about Dex Technologies, and also tell us the impact the Bold New Normal had on you personally and on your business as well.
One of the most impactful things that has happened to me is attending the Bold New Normal conference last year. It was...
Please repeat that.
It was really impactful because the network that I was able to engage with, I had absolutely no idea how powerful networking could be until, you know, the people that I met last year. Can you imagine that I met someone at the Bold New Normal conference last year? I had never met the person before until that time. In a week after meeting the person, I was at the Flagstaff House going to meet the president. I'd never met the person before. And so it was really, really impactful, to be honest. And at Dex Technology, we are really excited about the progress that we've been making. We've been growing really, really As I said in the video earlier, what we are doing at Dex Technology is essentially shrinking the science lab into a size that can fit in the student's bag and democratizing access to practical science education. And since we started, the goal initially was to enable access to science education for students here in Ghana. But very quickly we realized that the problems that are here in Ghana are also problems elsewhere, across Africa and even outside of Africa. And so we've grown to serve customers in Sierra Leone, in Nigeria, in Zambia, in South Africa, and the United Kingdom. So we are really excited about the growth, and I hope that we continue to grow and be able to make more impact.
Thank you so very much, Charles. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And Cecil, so eCampus LLC, you inspire us with the story of a business born out of your personal struggles in attaining education. I want you to tell us, this business has been about a decade old, correct? I want you to tell us about the pushback when you started eCampus, the challenges, how you overcame obstacle, and how you just kept going and kept pushing and kept being bold.
I think there are three major things you need to look out for. The first is self-doubt. What if you didn't go well? What if, that's self-doubt. That's the first pushback. If you can overcome that, 50% of the work is done. The second is your family. Because every family has some kind of blueprint, right? They have some kind of formula, right? Go to school, get to university, get a job, get married, buy a house, some formula, right? So if you're not following that, there will be pushbacks because they put food on the table for you. To some extent, they clothe you. So when they start weaponizing food, and a few things, you have to align. So that becomes the next pushback that you need to look out for. And then the final one is the establishment, society, right? Institutions. Whatever it is that you are going to build, would they prefer that one over the one coming from India? Or would they prefer it over the one coming from Europe? Would they prefer it coming from China? That's the final stage of the pushbacks that you need to, For me, the first pushback of self-doubt, he that is down fears no fall. You failed too many exams, nobody really cares anymore. That's all I had. Then the second one with family, that was a bit tough, But there's always that one person who will give you some form of validation. Look out for that. For me, it was my grandfather, my mother's uncle, lawyer Victor Abedio. So my grandfather was like, look, you are being bold to deviate. Keep that path. Maybe you could be the one that will open that avenue for the younger ones to see that we don't all have to be professionals. We can all create something new and solve problems. So I realized, okay, if I have a validation from that person who everybody respects in the family, means I'm going. Then the societal one, the structures, the powers that be. I got validation from Dorothy Gordon. That was the inaugural Director General of the Ghana Kofi Annan Center of Excellence in ICT. Right? Dorothy saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. She gave me access to the first supercomputer that was in Ghana, Panda. I used to sleep by it. Right? And I was so obsessed with it. She gave me access to a lot of things at Kofi Annan Center. And I'm like, if Dorothy thinks I have something, I don't care about whatever anybody thinks. I remember my first conference, she gave me a stand. As an e-learning conference, I was demoing the prototype of eCampus. At the time I was on diskettes and dead computers. That was the first time I shook hands with ex-President Kufuor. And he was asking me, did you go to school in America? I'm like, I don't even have SSE. He's like, are you serious? So then I realized that, you know what? Whatever anybody says, I'm just going. And I've been at it for more than a decade now. And I think I'm doing well, right, Lucy?
Why agriculture? How should we all be thinking about agriculture in the context of creating the bold new normal?
Well, I think agric is at the center of everything we do. Now let me run you through some numbers, and then you'll get why agric is important. When I wake up in the morning, first thing I do is to switch on my electricity. So ECG will take first. Right? So the first spend in the morning will go to ECG. The second spend will go to Ghana Water because I'll open my taps and have a shower. Now after that, the third spend is going to agric. I'll have breakfast. I'll wear clothes is going to agric. So this is made in Ghana by WTF, Warm Their Feet, agric. This is by Oye. I think they have a stand out there, agric. This is imported, agric. This is also made in Ghana, agric. Now my cosmetics, agric. Yes.
Cosmetics?
Yeah,
Please expound.
Pardon?
Please expound on the cosmetics.
So your shea butter, your everything, your soaps, the essential oils, everything is agric, right? As at 3 years ago, Ghana was consistently the biggest importer of used clothing in the world. $240 million of used clothing. Rhodes people, my people in the BA, we can farm cotton, we can farm silk, and the ATLs and the GTPs and all these companies can create the fabric, and then the wear garners, all these companies will use them to make clothes. If you're able to even cut down on that import by 50%, we are saving the Ghanaian about 175 million in foreign exchange problems. I believe agric is the thing for us to do the showdown for Ghana.
You had to, didn't you?
So that we can create value, create jobs, feed our various economies, and grow the economy. And this is the time that we all need to play a role some way, somehow. Bring all our expertise, all our money, all our strength, all our good wishes to support this space so that we can support the banking space, because the more money we make, the more this lady here in the bank makes more money. The more then we can fund the oil and gas space so that we don't have foreign companies coming to take 90% of a concession for Ghana to take only 10% carried interest. So agric is it. That's why God put us in the Garden of Eden and said we should take care of the plants and the animals and thrive.
Charles, walk us through your process for vision creation, articulate your vision, planning, and execution. And I want you to tie in this question, especially because we're in these times. Can we truly be bold in these times? Is being bold for the privileged or the rich?
The simple answer is no. Right? Being bold is not for the privileged or for the rich. And in fact, when there is crisis, like Lucy said earlier, that is actually the greatest opportunity for change, right? And for me, my process of creating a vision, it often starts from one of two places. The first one is empathy. And that usually happens when things are okay. When you're doing well and everything is fine with you, you empathize. So you see, students that are not being able to learn properly, or not able to do practical science and all of that, and you empathize. You want to do something about that. But the second way that it also starts is also survival. When times are hard and you're out of the university and you don't have a job and all of that, you need to survive, and that should be motivation to get you started. The second step is to visualize. As the name suggests, vision. You need to be able to spend time away from your phone, away from all of those things, and then visualize. Imagine what you want to create. And that was one of the things that I learned from the Bold in Yoma conference last year, when Lucy took us through the master class, and we were made to breathe and close our eyes and visualize and try. It was such a powerful experience for me, and I did realize that's actually one of the major steps that I also take when I'm creating my vision. And then the final one is to be bold and take that step. And that if you do take that final step, so whether you started with empathy or you started with survival, you spend some time, you visualize, you imagine what you want to create, and be bold to take that step. I promise you, something good will come out of it.
I'm David Ofosudote. I'm senior partner of AB and David Africa, which is a Pan-African law firm that specializes in assisting businesses across Africa to succeed on their projects in Africa.
I mean, if a young person here, don't wait to be a leader tomorrow. You are already a leader. If you are actually here, you're already a leader. Don't wait to be a leader of tomorrow. And the Bold New Normal gives you that whole idea as to how to shape a lifetime of being a leader throughout. Don't wait for tomorrow. Having said that, I think I'm supposed to talk about building business across the borders, etc. And it's an interesting thing when you start talking about building business across the border. But what we tend to forget is that a business cannot cross the border if it is first not within the border. So if you've not built a business within the border, don't think about crossing the border. Because the business must first be within the border in order for you to think about crossing the border. So let's first focus on how to build a business. The crossing the border part is a very small part of it. Interestingly, for those of you who know about the program we hold every year called Crystal Ball, we intend to focus on building business across the border at the next edition of Crystal Ball. So this is more like a peep into what it is that is going to happen next year. So if you are in the business, remember that you always have to try and reinvent in order to continue leading. And I have a very simple principle. If you've not introduced any better product over the last 3 years, your business is actually dying. The important point is to be constantly doing the things that make the business itself survive or grow within the border. Again, I don't know if you've heard this saying before, that never let the best be the enemy of better. Because the real human being doesn't buy according to what you are taught in school. If you studied economics, disabuse your mind of all the economic theories. They don't work. That's the reason why our countries don't grow. We are implementing economic theories taught in school. They don't really work. Human beings don't buy on rational basis. You and I know that. We buy on emotional basis. That is why we buy. It's only after we have stabilized the emotional part that the rationality comes in. Now, there are 3 ways to grow a business. One is to increase the prices of what you are selling. Definitely not a good strategy, especially if you have competition. One way to grow is to sell more of same. Another one is to sell more to those who are not currently buying from you, which is what business across borders, comes in. If they are not already buying from you, then you are presenting to them that which is better than what they are already buying. There is some misconception we have about money. One of them is that we think just merely getting the money is going to help our business grow. If you don't have a strategy, you waste the money. At times, our fear to go outside the border is focused too much on using the wrong yardstick. I'll give you an example. If I take this bottle of water, it's manufactured technically. So you need the plastic, the water, all those kind of things, and then the cost of production may be high because power is high, etc., etc. And you are competing with another product from Nigeria or Cameroon, etc. But there are many products which don't have competition. So there are some products, if you are in the area that there is no competition, then your problem is no competition. If you keep repeating the problems that those who have competition are repeating, you are repeating the wrong problem. It's just like we do in Africa. We plan the economy as if we are US. So if you are a small startup seeking to go to Togo to sell eggs, and almost every egg you buy in the street in Togo is from Ghana anyway. If you are seeking to sell eggs in Togo, but you have done a strategic plan as if it is Absa Bank, you have the wrong strategy. Don't apply a Goldman Sachs strategy to a kiosk. If you don't have a strategy, forget it. You are already part of somebody's strategy. That's the truth. If you don't have a strategy, you're already part of somebody's strategy. Don't let us also assume that going outside the borders necessarily means opening offices outside the borders. It depends on the type of business you are. My business requires that I open offices. It's not every business that requires going outside the borders mean opening offices. It could mean having a franchise. It could mean selling to somebody. It could simply mean having a local representative. So if you are in the type of business like manufacturing chairs, then when you think about going outside the border, you are thinking about rules of origin, etc., etc., etc. So just make sure that your strategy is timed and aligned to the right problem and you are getting. Lastly, the next thing you should focus on is how you utilize your resource. And the resources I'm talking about is not the resource of money or the resource of, business growth is not the same as expansion. They are two different things. Expansion, I could build a bigger office which is empty. I will have expanded. Growth simply means getting more customers to buy more of what you are doing and getting more money. That's what growth means. So to do that, you need to spend a lot of time on what enables you to achieve that. What I want attendees of Bold New Normal to realize that it doesn't matter how many of the good things you hear at this place or how much you are inspired. If you don't take action on it, forget it. And the only way you can take action on it is to use time. Time is the only resource we all have. If you spend it taking action on your strategy, you are likely to grow within the border and to grow outside the border.
My name is Na Ashoko. I'm a broadcaster, an actor, and I also run a theater production company called April Communications. This afternoon, I'm supposed to talk to you about creativity, career development, and national development. And while I am comfortable talking to you about the creative industry or the creative arts because that's where I work, I would like us to first of all acknowledge the fact that creativity does not mean artistic expression alone. It's the ability to think differently, challenge the status quo, and do things in a creative way. And this is relevant to you, to all of us, no matter which industry you work in, sector you work in, even if you do no work at all. Creativity is the first step to growth, I think. As I grew in the space, from ushering, I started working at TV Africa, I then moved to Charterhouse, I then started production, and then I moved to GH1, to Joy FM, to Asase Radio, and then now to TV3. As I moved through the space, I constantly realized or reminded myself, maybe unconsciously, that I needed to do more. I needed to get out. I needed to try something else. I was constantly told, I must say, that you are doing too much. You need to focus on one thing and grow there. You need to, you can't be jack of all trades and master of none. Just, you want to be a journalist, focus on it. Practice journalism, focus, keep focused. That way you'll be able to be the best in the space. But I must tell you honestly that I respect more trying other things and failing at them and realizing, well, it's not for me. Let me just come back to what's for me. Because if you don't try, how would you know? You just might be the best at the other things too. It is possible to do more than one thing and be good at it. So what am I saying? I'm saying that there's always an opportunity, no matter what you're doing, to do a little extra and be creative. In entrepreneurship, in academia, in the law, in medicine, or whatever, there's always an opportunity to do something a little extra. That little extra is or should be the thing that makes people want to know about your business, to do business with you, to like your brand, to want to copy you. It's very easy to see and recognize opportunities if you are attentive. If we want to grow as a people and as a nation and as young people, entrepreneurs and so on, we have to think about how we can serve. What can I do for you? Not what can you do for me or how can my business benefit from you? Your business will benefit, yeah? But first, figure out what you can do for them with your product or with your whatever it is you do. What are you doing for your customer? What is it that you are offering them? So we can never underestimate the importance of service. I have just 1 minute to go. So let me say that service, creativity, the interest in growing and trying new things all come together to grow us as people, grow our businesses, and eventually grow our nation.
And thus, Ghana, your beloved country, is free forever.
says thank you so much for representing the soul of the continent and of Ghana. Can we put our hands together for them one more time?
Hello, my name is Lucy Matsiko Anden. I'm a global strategist and a consultant with Punk Global. I also convene the Africa Future Summit, and I'm a board trustee with Berkeley College in New York and New Jersey. I'm so excited to be at the Bold is a New Normal because I'm all about strengthening our ecosystems and creating collaborations between Africa and the diaspora and focusing on our great stories, because until a lion begins to tell its stories, the story of a hunter will be glorified. Africa, your time is now. Thank you.
From when I was a child, I've always had a Pan-Africanist mentality. I've always been proud of my continent. I was always that child who had a different name. Living in Zambia, I had what was called Businje, which means peace. Your name is different. Go to America, oh, you might, if you use that name, you might not get a job interview. Then I say, I don't want to be employed by that person who doesn't want to hire me based on my name. So we have, oh, sit down, sorry, I'm so sorry, you know? But I am so happy that you are all here and participating. I just want to tell you that we have to be proud of being African. We have to continue to be proud of being business people. We excel in different industries, and we have to continue. We shouldn't hear what people say about us, but what do we believe about ourselves? And mindset shift is important, not what people tell us of who we are. We should also think about, why are we always thinking we are being exploited? We should change that attitude, because that blocks our opportunities. So sometimes it's not the cash that you get. Social capital is also more powerful than the cash, $1,000 that someone would give you. Just small innovations can make a difference and amplify that. But it comes down to also something, how we tell our stories. Our storytelling is critical. That is, we should be proud of who we are as people, as Ghanaians, as Africans. The most important thing is being of value and creating impact in whatever way, whether small way that you can. And thinking about partnerships, collaborations with one another, because I believe when we build and strengthen our ecosystems, we are powerful. A strong ecosystem. For instance, you see Hillary is good at PR. Go and patronize her business. We know that. Let's pour into her. Lucy's Bold New Normal is good at ABCD. That person, she's good at this. Let's identify who in our area. We can't be jack of all trades and everything, but we also have to support our businesses. That's how the Jewish people have been doing it. That's how the Indians have been doing it. That's how the Asians, the Koreans, whoever have been doing it. Why can't we adopt the same thing? Buy African. So for me, it's just a rallying call to say, you know what? Be proud of our continent. Continue to know you are enough. And that bold is a new normal. Be bold to grab what's yours. Thank you.
Wake up every day and try. Just keep trying. It draws you closer to the goal. As against deciding that this is it, I'm getting it, and if anything comes my way that distracts me or makes me feel like I'm not inching closer to it, I'm discouraged, I feel like I have failed. That is what takes a lot of people off the path. But like I said before, you know, you try, it doesn't work out, the next day you try again. You know, there's no stopping. But in the face of the challenges and obstacles, every day we try. If you want to change a thing, it's not a day's event. You have to keep trying. So when you're faced with challenges, my recommendation is always remember why you started.
Imagine a world without worry. A place where everyone is who they say they are. Where the people and assets most important to you are protected. A safe space. accessible only by the ones you authorize. A place of trust, transparency, and accountability. For over 3 decades, Margins ID Group and its subsidiaries have been building this world. Our state-of-the-art access control systems ensure that all your important spaces are protected biometrically by face, fingerprints, and even iris. Our asset tagging systems and CCTV installations ensure that the assets most important to you are exactly where you want them to be. We have conceptualized, designed, and built award-winning national identity infrastructures. The Ghana Card, in use by tens of millions of Ghanaians across the globe as their most trusted identity document. The Non-Citizen Ghana Card, in use by hundreds of thousands of non-citizens living in Ghana. Supported by our ultra-modern in-house designed and built verification system, currently in use by all financial institutions and multiple government and private agencies across the country. We are the identity experts for all things that represent you, your brand, call cards, product labels, smart labels, bank and loyalty cards. We represent you, and we are certified to do so by the International Organization for Standardization, ISO 9000-2015, ISO 20000-2018, ISO 27001-2013, and ISO 22301-2019. We are certified by Europay, MasterCard, and Visa, and proudly the only African facility to be certified by Intergraph at central banking level. Margins ID Group, made in Ghana by Ghanaians for the world. Visit us now at www.marginsgroup.com and use the contact tab to book your free consultation today. That's www.marginsgroup.com.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'm very happy to be speaking on her platform because I think she's doing something that we all need to be doing. Change is inevitable. So I guess that when we are bold, change becomes less frightening and it becomes normal. And when change becomes normal, then we can be progressive. So let me start by saying I went to France from school. How many mobile people are here? Where was here? Most people ask me, why margins? And I say margins is actually the central theme of business. When everybody makes a margin, the business is successful. If you give your customers a product, a solution, and a service that's a margin above your competitors, you create a business. When your customers save a margin from buying your products, they save money. If in competition you are margin above your competitors, you win the market. If everybody makes a margin, everybody's happy. The business is stable. So margins, right? And I remember the partner for Pimawick, which is KPMG today, Mr. Oko, telling me that, well, young man, if you wear the suits you're wearing and these binders that you're selling, there's some other people who came, but the way that you guys present will give you the business. And we had Pimawick's business, even when they turned to KPMG for years. And you know, they produce accounts. So we saw the binders, and what he called the Pimawick blue, a comb that was as blue as their color, and the cover as blue as their color. And every year, when they were accounts, we sold thousands of consumables. Now, so even though we were minors and people didn't even figure out why were these guys selling these things, we sold over 2,000 of these binders to different organizations. We introduced them to Ghana, selling binders, selling laminators, making ID cards, selling to what you call business centers. In those days, we had business centers, we sent faxes, we had make documents. We had more than 3,000 to 4,000 people on our books, and we were making an average of $1,000 per year, per relation. And so by the time we were in our 20s, we were millionaires, literally, just selling something as big as binders and laminators. But nobody saw that we were making money because we kept reinvesting our money into our company. And then, you know, as the ICT revolution was mutating, I decided that of all the things that we sold, the most interesting thing was identity, making identity cards. And, you know, making security features and ID cards. I found it very interesting. Because when I looked at the world, I thought there was nobody in that space. And I looked at alternatives, the options of selling these binders and laminators, too much inventory, too much people, low barriers of entry, theft, you know, all kinds of things. But identity seemed to be something that had barriers to entry. So I went into that. You know, one of my first mentors was a Swiss guy called Wolfers the Beggar, you know, and he used to own a company called EB. And he taught me a lot of the things I know about marketing and sales and business development from an European perspective, because he was Swiss. He was a doctor of economics. He's a very bright man, very polished, very enlightened. And I remember the first time he met me, and I was applying to have Ghana and West Africa as a distributor. He had asked me, what is the population of Ghana? I told him, what government do you have? I told him, I think I was 24, 25. And he said, what's the GDP? I didn't know. So he said, oh, yeah, in business, you don't know what the GDP of your country is. So I said, well, I don't know. Why should I know? He says, well, if you take the GDP and you take the population and you multiply it, you get the size of the market. And if you take the political system and you look at how stable it is, you see the risk that you're facing. And I go, wow, nobody taught me business like that. You know, so I kept it. That's why I can repeat it to you. Because business is about opportunity, it's about market sizes, it's about the difficulty of getting into markets, it's about the risk of getting into the market, it's about the cost of operations, and it's about what your competitors have and what you have. When you're in business, you have to be clean. You have to be credible. You have to be trustworthy. The people that are accomplished, that know the world, they can look through your soul. They can tell where you're coming from. They can tell whether you're straightforward. They can tell whether you're clean. And they give you things for free, right? But trust, faith, and being decent and honest is in the long run very important. More than any maneuvering or any sleight of hand, you know, that will get you to places in the short while, but not in the long term. You need to try something new. Sometimes you may be hurt, but you need to get up and dust yourself and go ahead. By making things, by producing things, by actually developing solutions, by applying yourself, by putting teams together, by looking for the enlightenment, by looking beyond the normal. There's nothing that I know that I wasn't taught by other people. But you have to aspire, and you have to desire, and you have to move in that direction to meet the people who are also going in that direction. And then they will take you along, and then they will teach you for free what they know. And if you get a good mentor, you can get years of experience that you don't pay for. Two things. You have to prepare, and you have to ask the right questions.
They can hear you.
The third one is that when you ask the question of a very, very experienced person, and you get the answer, don't forget the answer. It's going to save you a lot of trouble. So all this time, everything I know has been taught me by people who had done it before and knew what they were doing.
Breaking news. Africa isn't rising. I say this with a smile on my face because as far as I'm concerned, the continent has always been above and beyond. Above and beyond every attempt to shackle our souls because the African spirit cannot be chained. Above and beyond the intentional suppression of our progression because the world cannot forget our name. Above and beyond the continued narrative that we can only take and have nothing of value to give because the world would be impoverished without us. We are above and beyond the stigma of less than, the stereotype of always needy, and the stories of incompetence, unethical, incapable, and the whitewashed blacklist that goes on and on and on. This bold new normal isn't a far-off, unattainable ideal that's nice to talk and think about and even dare to dream of. No. It is always as close as your very next decision and every action you take after that, well within reach. The bold new normal is a marketplace where everybody puts in the work, the hard work, the productive work, the transformative work, the work that in all honesty never gets done because we can always get better, and beyond better there's best, and above that there's excellence. And excellence should always be the bare minimum that's considered acceptable for each and all, because you are worthy. We are worthy. We always have been, we always will be. You see, this bold new normal lives inside each and every one of us, but it can only come alive through all of us. It is the Africa where everybody, everyone prospers. We have the women, and it has already been presidentially declared, we have the men. We have today the generation that can lead the way. Yes, it is true that across the villages, towns, cities of the countries on the continent, and amongst the men, women, young and old, boys and girls of the soil, we do not all stand on equal footing, but we can all find common ground in this bold new normal where there's prosperity for us all. Once upon a dream come true, everything changed. And it changed because I did, because you did. And in that change, we found that the beautiful ones are as yet born. They are us, the ones with the audacity to question self, the courage to connect with others, and the heart to work for the good of not only the pleasures of the present, but more profoundly, the prosperity or posterity of the country, continents, and world that we call home. So come, let us take action to create our African prosperity together, the bold, new, normal.
So keep your pens and papers to hand. We're going to go through our masterclass with you actually crafting as we go along, write down the points that you are going to feed into your bold new normal plan. I want you to reflect on a story in your mind, something that you've done really boldly, or you'd like to do really boldly. And then as you think about that, whether you're doing it or you're going to do it, tell me about, write down 3 challenges you're facing. Now I want you to think about 3 challenges that are personal to you. Example, I said I was doing a conference, and I said I don't know how to organize a conference. I don't actually know how it is done. That's personal to me. That's me saying, I want to do something, but I'm not sure I have the skills for it. I need to learn. What are 3 challenges you have that are personal to you in achieving your bold new normal?
Okay, so my name is Jessica Mafo. Working in a corporate setting, one of the challenges I'm facing is controlling people's perception of me, of my capabilities and what I'm able to do, and trusting me to do more. So that's a personal challenge.
That's a personal challenge that you need to work out. So hope you held the thought, because we need to address that personal challenge. One more personal challenge. Personal. You think you lack guidance and support. You lack guidance and support. How does it feel to either share your challenges with someone you don't know, maybe you don't know the person you spoke to before, or she's not someone you shared your challenges with before?
Yeah, so my name is Alexi. She's someone I've shared my challenge with before. But when I shared with her, the perspective that she came from, it made sense to me. It made it easier for me. It made me realize, oh, I haven't thought of it that way. it made me feel like it is normal to feel what I'm feeling, but this is the solution to it, so it felt really good.
You need to have someone, I'm not saying go around the whole world telling everybody your problems, but you have to have at least one person with whom you can sit down and say, this is what I'm trying to achieve. And it may not even be about achievement, but if you're living audaciously, you will have challenges. It's a perfect life that doesn't have challenges. And when you have them, where do you go? Right? And as we open up to at least one person, if you have more than one, then you're blessed. Then the other thing it does is that it builds trust. Because if I open up to you, you will open up to me. And in a society where we want to achieve big things, we have to have systems of trust. Do you ever ask yourself who you are? Yes. You do? Okay. So write down 3 adjectives that describe you. In your own words, just 3 adjectives. If you had to write down your values, you've described yourself, but what are your values? I have 2 sets of values, personal and professional, but you may have other dimensions through which you define your values. For me, my personal values are faith, family, and freedom. And my professional values are integrity, excellence, and generosity. Very simple. What is your why? You may think that you haven't had any challenge in your life that will suddenly click you into a why, but you have a why. You have a why. If you haven't taken the time to explore it, then that's a different situation, but you have a why. So think about it and write down, what is your why? What is a why deep down inside for you? And a why drives you. My why continues to drive me, whether it's my career, whether it's what we're doing today. It's all driven by the why. So what really, really drives you at the heart of you, the core of you, that is your why. But my why is also my source of boldness. Right? Sometimes you may say people are just courageous, they're just, they dare, they just know how to talk. But if something pushes you enough, you tend to learn to let go of the things you're afraid of and go for it anyway. Because you have a reason. You have a why. It is in our whys that we find our purpose. And not everyone is necessarily living purposefully towards their why, but you feel it. If you keep waking up every day in the morning and you're not doing what you feel you should purposefully do based on your why, you feel it. You may still not do it, but you feel it. So I want to ask you, now that you've captured your why, what is your purpose? So, vision. You've described yourself, you talked about your country, you talked about your values and your passions, your whys, your purpose. What's your vision for your life? It's a scary thought, but we don't have this life forever. So what's your vision for it? Are you just going to go and come and go and come and go and come? Or is something more going to come of it? And it doesn't always have to be the whole of your life. Think about what your vision would be for a year from now. When we come back here, what will your vision, what's the vision for, 12 months from now? If you picture yourself in 12 months, what would have happened? If you're waking up every day, going to work, coming home, going to work, coming home, going to work, coming home, get paid at the end of it, blah, blah, blah. Where is it going? So, Miss CLP, here. 1, 5, or 10 years. Pick one that you wrote a vision for.
Okay, I did for 1 year.
Okay.
Okay, and then
What's the vision for 1 year?
The vision for 1 year, I said that whatever institution I was going to be placed for my house job as a pharmacist, I should be the best over there. And then I should have set up my baking business as well. So that's what I told myself.
Pharmacist and baking business. The thing about all the plans that you're writing down is that it's very evident that you need a degree of audacity. But the audacity that you need sometimes can mean just plowing through and fighting on. And I think you've already written down visions for points in time in your future. Be intentional about picturing it. But what I want to ask you differently, given the situation we're in and given the vision that you've written down, Is there some lingo that you use every day that you need to change? Something that you say normally, conversations you normally have. Now when you're reading the vision, you're like, hey, this vision and this thing that conversation I normally have, they don't match. Can you think of something like that? Has anybody stopped being friends with someone? You didn't fight, but you're just not vibing anymore. Yeah. And who feels guilty when they start vibing with someone? I want you to pause for a moment, and if you're going to win differently, we've talked about outcomes, but I want you to write down what the picture of success looks like and how you're going to measure that success. But I want you to really be intentional about writing down your pictures, because you're going to be back here in 12 months. So you need to think about your success factors. You're not coming back just to come and show off, but because you're sitting with people who, like you, want to make change and want to make progress and want to impact their communities and their world. So what does that actually look like? A year from now, we'll be here again. I want you to pick, just pick a moment in time in October 2024 where you'll be, what you'll be doing. It could be home, it could be work, it could be, but I want you to, we're going to talk about, well, you're going to think about what that vision, that picture of October 2024 actually looks like. So close your eyes, it won't take you long. Picture a point in October 2024. It's been 1 year since you were at the Bold New Normal conference. You wrote down a vision and a plan, but now you're trying to think about it, that it's happened. The vision has actually happened. The 1 year vision has happened. I want you to think about where you are in this moment, the moments that you're picturing in October 2024. Where are you? What can you see in that vision? What does it look like to have achieved the vision that you created? How are you feeling? You must be happy that you've achieved what you wrote down. You probably achieved more than what you wrote down. And I want you to spend a moment just savoring where you are right now in that vision. Savor it. Let it be imprinted in your mind. Imprint it so that you recognize it, that the day you're in this vision, you can actually say, this is what I saw. And as you imprint it in your mind, I want you to breathe in a way that relaxes you, that you're like, this vision is my vision. I embrace it. I embrace it. It's mine. And I'm living it. And now you can open your eyes. Come back to the present, because we do need to navigate our way home. Please sit down for a moment. Thank you very much for that. So I encourage you to connect with us on our social media handles. The one that I've been most surprised by is LinkedIn. LinkedIn people are serious, bold, new, normal people. Okay.
We first would like to call on Charles, who was here for our inaugural event. Thank you so much, Charles, for coming back again. We can't thank you enough. We don't have what it takes to say thank you, but we just want to give you a little token of our appreciation. Can we put our hands together for Charles? I think Cecil is still here. Thank you so much, Charles. Thank you. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Cecil, thank you so much for staying. We sure do. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for pouring into us. Thank you. Thank you.
You know I got you. I got you.
Thank you. Bussy. Thank you so much. I knew Bussy must be exhausted. She just got in on Thursday, but she has been here all day. Thank you so much, Bussy.
Sorrows and now I'm free. I got me I got my hallelujah bow. Because of Jesus, every day now shakarade.
And there you have it, the Bold New Normal 2023. The curtains are coming down. We want to thank you all for being with us from morning until now. We absolutely could not have done this without you. Until next year, it's been Hillary Ando, and it has been an honor to serve you.